Here are the 5 major advantages of private lending over traditional real estate investing. The first one is that private lending is truly passive. You know, all the traditional real estate investors, they are drawn to real estate for the dream of passive income. But if you have owned and managed a large portfolio of rental properties, you know that it's not passive for somebody. Somebody's got to be doing the work. And as a private lender, you get to still participate in the upside of really good rental properties and really good deals, but you get to participate passively. So that's number one. Private lending is passive. Secondly, you can get higher returns based on the knowledge you have. Say you're new to real estate and you're starting to learn, maybe it just interests you. And you take your knowledge level and you become a private lender and you see what returns you can get there. And then you compare that to if you take your knowledge and become a traditional real estate investor and see what kind of returns you can get there. Oftentimes, people vastly underestimate the amount of experience and repetitions and just what it takes to do a successful real estate deal. If you're looking at apples to apples without investing a bunch of time, what am I going to make higher returns on? Oftentimes, private lenders make a lot more money just lending money than they do trying to invest traditionally. I know some people that have thought that they wanted to be traditional real estate investors, did a couple deals and quickly realized, I'm just gonna stick to investing passively. And so oftentimes you can get higher returns as a private lender. Now, obviously, if you're a real estate investor that's just killing it and you know exactly what you're doing and you've gotten thousands of reps in this business, you'll probably make more money actively investing, but you just have to determine what path do you want to go down and how much time do you have and do you want to dedicate towards this. Now, the third major advantage is you don't have to get dirty. You don't have to go do the rehabs. You don't have to do the construction. You don't have to go chase contractors around town and try and figure out who's stole materials from your job site and all of the headache that comes with traditional real estate investing. As a private lender, you are sheltered from all that. Now, you could be lending on a deal where the active real estate investor that you lend money to is chasing down contractors, just firing this guy and hiring a new guy and getting everything organized. But you'll be sheltered from the majority of that because either you get your monthly check or your interest just accrues as the project goes along and you're good. You just get your payday at the end and you don't have to deal with all of that business and contractors and the dirty aspects of rehabbing a property. The fourth major advantage of being a private lender over traditional real estate investor, no tenants. As I said earlier, it's really hard to have a passive business when you have lots of people living in properties that are not perfect and properties that constantly need maintenance, which if you've ever owned a home, homes need maintenance. It's just unavoidable. As a private lender, you don't have to deal with any of that. No one's gonna call you at midnight or 3 a.m. You're not gonna have to hear all their crazy stories and deal with all of the madness and chaos that sometimes comes with renting properties. So as a private lender, you don't have to deal with that. It's kind of like you don't have to deal with the construction and all of that process. You just collect your interest. Same thing here. The tenant may be paying the bill, but it flows through the active investor and goes to you, and it doesn't matter where the money came from. It's very hands-off and you didn't have to deal with those tenants and collecting from them. Now, the fifth major advantage of being a private lender is it's really predictable. I've known lots of people that have gotten into real estate investing and after their first deal, they got out of real estate investing. Maybe they made it to 2 deals or 3 deals and then they got out of real estate investing because if you don't know exactly what you're doing, it can be just the worst thing in the world. If you know what you're doing and you have a solid game plan, it can be the absolute best thing in the world. But as a private lender, you get predictable returns. Even if the deal that you lent money on is not a profitable project. Let's say the investor just breaks even. They do all this work, manage all these contractors, and have to haggle with buyers and do all this stuff just to get a deal done and get the property sold because they were flipping it. And they have to pay the title company, they have to pay their realtor, they had to pay their contractors, they had to pay to buy the property, and they pay you your interest, and at the end of the day, they didn't make a single dime. It was a bad project, right? And that happens all the time. And on that project, if you were the active traditional real estate investor, you just worked for free for months. But as a private lender, your income is predictable because you determine this is the rate of return that I'm going to get on my money. If it's a home run project, congratulations, you make a bunch of money. If it's a terrible project and you have to pay out of pocket, sorry, but I'm still getting my set predictable return on investment. And so private lending can be very, very, very predictable, whereas traditional investing, once you're good at it, it can be predictable, but you have to be good at handling all the curveballs that get thrown your way. It can be a lot more chaotic and unpredictable than private lending. So those are 5 major advantages that private lenders get to have that traditional real estate investors just don't.